Here we go, guys. Today I'm going to Pripyat. With a new, insanely dangerous route through Belarus. I have to cover more than 30 miles on foot through the Chernobyl forest. Hide from the guards and wild animals in the abandoned villages and towns of the Belarusian exclusion zone. Pripyat, guys, the real Pripyat. I decided to go alone, so there's less chance of being seen. Guys, I'm waiting for a train in Gomel to arrive in a town called Koiniki. Actually, this is the last village before the Chernobyl exclusion zone. It's like the village of Tyatki. And then the FSAS begins. Not bad. Great, here's my place. Check this out. I'm traveling business class. I arrived in Belarus, in the town of Koiniki. Behind me is a monument dedicated to the emergency response workers. Behind me is the Koiniki town checkpoint. On the other side is the Chernobyl exclusion zone. So, guys, this is the checkpoint to the reserve. But we all understand that this reserve is the Chernobyl exclusion zone. This is how they let cars in. With passes. As you can see, you won't be allowed into the Chernobyl zone without a special pass. But of course, we didn't get a pass. It's not that easy to do now. But we're not simple stalkers. You know, of course. We won't cross the Chernobyl zone through the official barrier. We'll do it illegally. You're on the Kreosan channel, and we're starting. We'll go around the territory now. In short, I was a little stupid. I was walking on the wrong side. Now I've encountered a problem. That there's a checkpoint in front of me, the checkpoint to the 1 meter zone. And I need to go to the right. The paved road, which just happens to lead to the checkpoint, is in my way. Yes. But I noticed that the guard's house where he sits is to the left. And since you see trees here, a lot of greenery, there is a chance that I can quickly run to the other side and go through the forest to the right, tangentially. Wish me luck, guys. This is the most tense moment. I think they would have noticed me right away. And somehow notified me, I don't know. They would have quickly blown a whistle. I need to walk literally 100 meters. I can't go straight now, because this swamp is in the way. So I'll walk a little further. I'll tell you, it's so uncomfortable to walk. There are unrealistically many mosquitoes. Just look, guys, how many of them there are. I don't know if you can see it or not. Plus I can't go deeper into the forest yet, because there's a flood here. But according to the navigator, there should be a checkpoint somewhere around here. That is, the entrance to the 30-meter zone. Guys, you can't imagine how close I am. Of course, I'll try to show you now. So that you understand. There, behind the leaves. This is the checkpoint. I am very, very close to it. Guys, this is rare footage. You can't imagine how much of a risk I'm taking right now. So many mosquitoes. This is the checkpoint into the 30-kilometer zone. On the left, guys, there is a house with security. And the mosquitoes are just awful. We'll think of something now. According to the navigator, I need to cross the road in that direction. We'll somehow get around this now. I'll probably go back a little. It's the height of spring now, nature is coming to life, the leaves are coming to life. By the way, it's amazing, there's some kind of tower there. And it feels like there's a satellite dish there, which, you know, broadcasts TV channels. But I don't think so. Guys, I met some wild goats. Look, look. Wow. Oh, no. Guys, I scared a drake. Damn, they flew away. I wanted to film them swimming. Most likely, I came to the village of Babchin. Because a school and an asphalt road just appeared from the bushes. And they're in perfect condition. Patrols come here regularly, that's true. That's why we do everything quickly and according to plan. Holy moly, what a net. Some kind of basement. Here's the school itself. Mamma mia. Wow, this is really here. It is so scary to be here, of course. But this is the perfect place to be. In case you hear or see a Belarusian patrol. Damn, what if there is some kind of living creature here? Could it be, or not? So, guys, let's be the first to see what's there. No, it seems to be quiet there. But it just stinks of dampness. It stinks unrealistically. But that's not surprising. The pit is some kind of small. I hope they didn't bury anything here. Let's go to the school and see what's inside. All the same, in such a place you need to study and reconnoiter everything. I looked at the navigator and saw this building. If you trust the information that is written on the internet, this is the Babchinskaya school. The old building was built somewhere in the 19th century. A very old ancient building. Can you imagine the 19th century? Mega destroyed. What's there? So there are a lot of mosquitoes flying there. The humidity is high in this place. Let's see what's inside. Everything is in ruins. Nothing has survived. The ceiling is interesting. It is made with such an engraving. Opposite me there is a new building that was built in the 70s. It looks like this. So, look what I found. This is an unusual brick with such a letter M. But in fact there is a W here. I don't know, write in the comments what kind of brick this is. This entire 19th century building was completely built of such authentic bricks. But nevertheless, let's see what's inside. It's scary to wander around here alone. One wrong move and you'll simply be fined, taken to the police station, or something else, God forbid. Therefore, you have to be as careful as possible. As you can see, of course, everything is in bad condition. There are a lot of mosquitoes flying around here. I just suffered while I was walking through the forest. There are an unrealistically large number of mosquitoes. I heard things. I try to behave as quietly as possible. You have to be more careful, because the building is in a state of emergency. You have to constantly look up here, so that nothing falls on your head. Imagine, it's been 38 years since the reactor at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded. And these boards are underneath me. They've been rotting all this time and are in such a terrible state. Water drips from above and, of course, the boards become saturated with water, and they simply stop being normal. They bend. But are we really still not going to find any notebooks? It's interesting, after all, in the Belarusian exclusion zone. I go up to the second floor. You see, the plaster has fallen off the walls. There used to be a school corridor here, along which kids simply walk to class. But surprisingly, nothing at all has survived. An old switchboard. You will appreciate its condition. Of course, the wires have been torn out. There is nothing left there. Apparently, these were valuable parts. Here's the button left. Can be used again. Damn. I don't know whether it is safe to touch this place or not. Time clearly shows what will happen to places where people stop living. Judging by the humidity, you can, of course, determine how rusty all this is. And a rusty globe, it seems to me that this used to be the globe. Of course, the advantage is that this school is overgrown. There are trees everywhere, all over the place, and you can only hear me if someone is passing by nearby. It seems like some kind of fantastic plot that this is just scenery. Scenery of what could have happened during the apocalypse. At first I thought that I found some kind of first aid kit. But what kind of dashboard is this? The order in which the devices are turned on, it looks like, I don't know, some kind of radio. There used to be cast iron radiators here, which, of course, were cut down by looters to sell them for a tasty price. So it's already becoming risky here. The higher the floor, the more crumbling plaster. And this is dangerous because at any moment you can step somehow incorrectly, and your leg can slip off, and you can fall in. Believe me, I wouldn't want to break my leg or damage anything in the exclusion zone. Because firstly, there is no connection with the outside world. Because the internet simply does not work here. And even if... Have you heard? This is how this building breathes. This is the breath of an abandoned school. It is very damp here. The floors were most likely dismantled for firewood to heat the stoves. The building is in a very emergency condition. But this is understandable, we have just entered the zone. And these are references. Reminders that you really are in the zone. Because when there was an evacuation, the city was evacuated. Of course, everyone wore gas masks so as not to inhale this. Cesium or something else. Here you can clearly see that there was a classroom here. There is an exit directly from the windows to the roof. So... By the way, I found another gas mask. This is such a Belarusian Chernobyl exclusion zone. But I am planning to get into the city of Pripyat itself. Ventilation ducts. Look guys. I think this is called an exhaust hood. So that there is fresh air in the classrooms. And it is not stuffy. Of course, I don't know if it is safe to move around here at all, because suddenly the roof will collapse or some kind of avalanche will occur. But purely visually, I see that there are no holes. Well, except for the destroyed ventilation shafts. Time takes its toll. The rain washed it all away. And the school was powered by this pole. Guys, by the way, there is a road there that I just came along. Silence, sounds of nature. To my left is a swamp. I'm not kidding, a real swamp. I've never seen anything like this in real life. Either it's a spill or it really is a swamp. Holy moly. The coolest thing is that it's a transmission line pole. Imagine. The water is swamp colored, really deep there. And the pole from the transmission line. Great. Did you hear that? Yes. No, the background is normal. My dosimeter is deceiving me a little. Well, as I understand it, it's a transmission line that fed the village I'm heading to now. That's a Belarusian vibe. Chernobyl. It's nature. It just does some unimaginable things. I reached the village. The village is called Dronki. The name is so cool, just like potato pancakes. I'm standing at a crossroads now. Of course, the way I'm walking is wrong. Because a car can drive out at any moment. That's the village of Dronki. 232 people live there. How do you like their sign? Protect the forest because animals will suffer. Let's go. Guys, now I'll show you how people lived in a village called Dronki. I have a question for you. By the way, guys, what do you think this house is? You have time to think, but write in the comments. A little later I'll tell you what kind of building it is. Let's go inside and take a look. Well, of course, there's no talk of safety. After all, a lot of time has passed. And the house, let's just look at it. It looks like a poker. You know, the one they use to throw coals into the stove. I don't know what it is, but maybe you know. Write in the comments. The door is certainly peeling. After all, time does its job. And inside I found some kind of bottle. But the first rule in the zone is don't touch anything with your hands. Surprisingly, it's perfume or cologne. It smells like perfume. Damn, I felt nostalgic now. My mother had perfume and this particular smell. Wow. It's like I was transported back to my childhood. Look, guys, this is a kerosene lamp. But of course I'm not going to smell it for kerosene. You know why? Suddenly some bug might bite your nose. But, by the way, the price tag is 11 rubles 65 kopecks. This is probably a relatively expensive lamp. That's why in Soviet times people generally like to immerse themselves in that era. Because every item always had a price tag. Anyway, guys, I'll let you in on a little secret. This is a school. Can you imagine? Like in old movies. Have you watched old Soviet movies? Where the class sat in a hut in a small house, so you understand, this is a village. That is, this is a village school in a village. It really looks like a scene from an old Soviet movie. Pay attention to the size of the board. It's unrealistically huge. It's practically the entire length of the wall. As far as I understand, there are autographs of people on the board who also visited the Chernobyl zone. Cubes. Who had such cubes as a child? I had them. Yeah, guys, I'm a scuff. This has been lying around for a long time. Some kind of diary, probably. A downy hat. A Yuzik's library. A leader's library, probably. That's so cool. Holy moly, look at Barbos. He's dissatisfied. Listen, but the pictures are certainly cool. This is a book. Or instructions about a hat. I don't know what this is. But it's like the dude doesn't have a hat on his head but a bald spot. Listen, but it's funny. It lifts your spirits. The pictures are certainly cool. All the pages are dusty. Remember Gopnik in the yard? Have any pennies? Yeah, I remember him. I had a neighbor like that as a child. Holy moly. Guys, a backpack. A school backpack. How cool is this? Honestly, today I would happily walk around with such a backpack. This is incredibly cool and awesome. Let's see what's inside. You can't do that. Look at what's in other people's backpacks. I think the owner of this backpack is already far away, and it's unlikely that he will make a remark to me. Guys, I call this the voice of the zone. In almost every abandoned place I find a gas mask. It kind of reminds me that this is not just some abandoned school, but after all, a tragedy happened here, and people were simply evacuated from here. Long live May 1st. So, on April 26th, the reactor exploded and people were getting ready for the holiday. May 1st. No one even knew that in Soviet times they kept silent until the last minute and did not tell people that such a tragedy had happened at the station. People celebrated this day. There was radiation here and they were exposed to radiation. Look, I found a filter for a gas mask. How big is it? Do you know what kind of filter this is? This is an anti-chemical filter. It has something to do with chemistry. This is a very powerful, cool filter. Imagine the kids leaving this classroom. There's a small corridor here. There's also some kind of room here. Maybe it was the teacher's room. Because there's a TV here. Or it's a music classroom. Because look, there are some musical notes here. The building is also in a state of disrepair. It's falling apart over time. It rains. It washes everything away and leaks. Especially the house itself. It's as if it were made of clay and brick. There are educational posters on the walls. Knock on the door when entering someone else's room. There are rules of etiquette here. They said what is good and what is bad. That you need to behave decently and politely. This is really cool. It's awful. So many mosquitoes. Just look. It's awful. There is beauty and tragedy here. Nature is being restored right in one frame. Such beautiful fields, meadows. All that's missing is a milk cow, a chocolate bar that advertises. You can just go and film an ad right here. But of course you can't film an ad here, because there's tragedy in the air. You can feel like you're in the exclusion zone. Lilac bush. An ordinary lilac bush. I've never seen such bushes in my life. I'm telling you honestly, I've never seen such bushes in my life. What is this? Horror. A lizard ran by. The smell. It's indescribable. Guys, how do you like this house with a thatched roof? And here's the entrance. It's just overgrown. The smell of lilac is simply unreal. Bees are flying. I hope they don't sting me. Welcome to the most ordinary house where ordinary people lived. The most ordinary people. Wow. Wow. The roof itself. It raises a lot of questions for me. Water will pass right through the straw. And the house will be flooded. Clothes, guys. It's like something out of a children's fairy tale. Look at this jacket. Okay, before touching anything, I forgot, I have a cool dosimeter. Let's measure the background. Well, the background is around the norm, maybe 5 units higher than the norm. A children's down jacket, just like something out of a fairy tale. In the next room, you can see for yourself. There's a collapse here. Everything is in ruins. It's dangerous, of course. The roof just caved in. Strongly, yes. This was the bedroom. An interesting house. Very interesting. I hope there are no animals there. Well, nature takes its toll. Did you hear it? There was a sound somewhere. But the background is growing. Guys, my dosimeter measures microsieverts. We see a reading of 0.4. This is a 4-fold excess of the background, since the norm is 0.1. That's the kind of house it is. Made entirely of wood. Wow. Imagine, the residents themselves collected all their postcards like this in a collage, and made a frame like this. And it stands right at the entrance to the house. Interesting. Wow. A strange bottle. I haven't seen triangular ones yet. Let's measure the background. It's 0.3 here. Yes, it's twice as high, but it's still safe to walk here. There was light here. Someone's driving. A car just drove by. I'll sit here for a while, and then we'll go outside and see if everything is okay there or not. A car drove by. Since this village is located along the road, and there's only one road here, there could have been some employees here. So let's probably go around this. In short, I decided to go around this building. I won't risk going out onto the main road because they'll see me right away. Guys, this is a state farm. It's called Victory of Socialism. Let's try to climb in there. Everything is in the fence here. Just what the doctor ordered. so lucky a tree fell. So, here we go. So, welcome to the State Farm victory of socialism. I can't believe that I managed to just get here. Just look. There are combines. Ordinary working combines that collected rosash. No way. Let's try to measure the radiation. That's strange, the tire is still intact. No one stole it. The background is 0.6. This is an excess. 6 times in fact. Yeah, you haven't seen such solo hikes yet, guys. Godforsaken equipment. Perhaps the moment of the explosion at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant when the fallout fell on this territory, the equipment was heavily contaminated. These combines they were cleaning and digging in this radioactive soil. I don't know what's going on here. It's hard to call it a cow sheet. There's always a fear that some animal will jump out of here. Yeah. Well, there's nothing interesting here. These are just cool buildings. Garages. A fence. By the way, surprisingly, there's only metal here. You'd think you could just take it all and haul it away. Look. Guys, the excess is 13 times. We found a hot particle somewhere. The excess is 15 times. The excess is 20 times. There's something really serious underneath me. How can you observe this picture with a dosimeter? Can you feel Chernobyl? The excess is 28 times here. There's something really serious here. I'm sure if you dig the soil, it'll be even worse. Yeah, it's scary. The background is certainly dropping. It's normal now. There's a contaminated area specifically there. It's like someone screaming at the Yanov station. Some elk or animal. It's like some kind of mating. I heard a machine signal in the distance and decided to hide. Need to hide somewhere. Listen, it's like I found a huge barbecue. What was here, guys? A huge hood. It looks like something was burned here. What is that? Why is there such a huge hood here? Feed small parts under the stamp. Only with tweezers. Hold when repairing a hammer. Hold the tool at the side of your body. Instructions so as not to get hurt. The glass is all dusty. This is some kind of production site. They manufactured something here. Most likely. Wow, it feels like they made this wire here. Or the looters have already piled it up and they just couldn't take it all out. And there's so much money lying around. Look, everything is rusty. Everything is rusted. I spotted something again. Some kind of hot spot here. The background radiation is at least 10 times higher. I read on the internet how to behave when there is radiation around you. And many write that the very first rule is to protect your respiratory tract. That is, you need to make sure that the radioactive particle does not get into your lungs. I brought with me this Soviet bag, which contains a real officer's gas mask. I also took 2 brand new filters with me, so that I don't have a counterweight, so that I don't get pushed to this side. I have a special adapter that can be screwed into the place where the gas mask is screwed. Like this. And now we can attach a filter to the other side. But that's not all. These filters have a special feature.
Такая, что
That you can attach another filter to the filter.
еще один фильтр. И
And now I will be 100% sure that everything will be fine and I will be able to breathe freely.
я смогу спокойно дышать.
Only this one doesn't screw on. Why? We put on an officer's gas mask.
Противогаз.
We tighten this. Then, you see, this thing, it dangles, and of course it is inconvenient to move around like that. That is why we put the filter in our bag.
Наш мешочек.
We seal it,
Спрятываем его
and hang the bag on the shoulder.
на плечо.
Guys,
Ребята,
I am safe.
опасности.
Here we can see some kind of barn for horses, for cows. One microenkin. The roof has collapsed.
Заходите.
It is not safe to go in there. Now we will try to find the entrance to this house and see what is inside.
И посмотреть, что там внутри.
Practically the same house.
Дом.
According to the standard, a cellar, a stove. Everything that could be taken out, of course, was taken out. The roof is broken.
Поднялась.
We need to remove the plug from this filter.
Заглушку.
That is all. Do you hear, guys?
Ребят,
Air is coming in here. Now I am safe. Well, to completely protect your life,
свою жизнь
you can attach another filter to this structure.
прикрепить еще один фильтр. Вот.
Here is such small thing. We just take it like this,
Ее берем,
remove it,
вот снимаем.
and now I have double protection.
Закрыто.
It is easy to breathe in a gas mask, but some discomfort is felt.
Дискомфорт.
As you can hear, the dosimeter is just going crazy. The radiation is very high in this village. Look at how small the houses are here.
Прям
A really small house. Of course there is nothing there. Nothing has survived. A fallen power pole.
электропередачи.
All that is left is this ceramic thing, insulating.
Огромное.
I found another house. Let's go and quickly do a mini review.
Мини-обзорчик.
Look at those felt boots. Insulation, probably for boots. Storage room, in this room. Old tape recorder. Only a wooden frame remains. Even in the house there is radiation. None of the sockets were stolen by the looters.
Никто не спер из мародеров.
I had a table like this at my dacha. The stove was dismantled. In search of metal the looters rummaged everywhere here. Holy moly, what a hat. A box, or what is it? I don't know. Clay pots.
Горшки.
What a cool atmosphere. By the way, the dosimeter in this house went silent and stopped beeping.
Печать.
A jacket is hanging. Of course, we will not find the owner. These slopes on the doors are very low. This is the 100th time I've hit my head on them.
100-й раз бьюсь башкой об них. Вот.
Here,
Здесь
of course, the situation is deplorable. The ceiling has collapsed. This little house is very close to the nearest houses.
наших домиков
That is, either this is one big plot, with all this living space, or neighbors lived here,
жили соседи и
and everyone talked to each other.
общались.
Most likely, this is some kind of cow barn.
Коровий.
Yes, there were cows here. You see, the sand is specially lying here. A lot of flies are flying. The gas mask also saves me from flies. because if you eat a radioactive mosquito,
Комарика
then you will have hallucinations all day long.
целый день.
Radiation is everywhere. Everything is contaminated. I see another house on the horizon. Yes, such houses are only in the Chernobyl zone. They are very old.
Старые,
Cool.
прикольные.
How do you like the TV, guys? Fire? Mamma mia. Guys. Guys, look. Either a hare or a marmot. Now I will try to film with another camera. The zoom is better there. Guys. This is some kind of monster. No way, it is really an eagle. It looks like a golden eagle. Entrance entry forbidden.
Запрещен.
Guys. Guys, what should I do? What should I do? Holy moly, it's a wolf. Guys, this is the end. I climbed a tree.
Дерево.
Guys, I met a wolf. In the Chernobyl forest. I'm scared. What will happen to me now? I entered the Chernobyl zone from the Belarus side.
Стороны Беларуси.
I was hiding from the wolves, wild animals, and the guards. And look what I found here.
Тут обнаружил.
A city in the Chernobyl forest, which is not even on the maps.
Даже на картах.
Damn. Pripyat, guys.
Самая
The real Pripyat. Here, of course, nature takes its toll. Look how everything is overgrown. It's impossible to get through it all. Well, it kind of looks like a roadway.
часть.
Wow. Curb. It turns out that there is only 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 5-story building. What a cool entrance. Let's go inside and see what's inside. Mamma mia. Switchboard. Let's see what's here.
Есть.
Hallway. Oh, these mosquitoes. Bathrooms. Toilet. Kitchen. Oh, this is not Pripyat at all. This is a really different exclusion zone. Damn, such a cool balcony.
Вон.
Wow,
Геть.
just a dream.
Кайф. Выходишь.
You go out and there is such a view. Holy moly. Car. There's a car there. Guys, there's a car there. Yeah, the zone lives its own life. I don't know, maybe it's security, I don't know, but we're not going to check it. The neighboring apartment is on the first floor. Damn, all the windows are broken. All the windows are broken. I didn't see a single whole window. Here's the neighboring house. It's like the jungle. It's hard to believe that you're in Chernobyl. It feels like you're somewhere in the forest. A storage room. In Soviet times, it was fashionable to make such drawers on top to fill all the space. Look, a stroller. Grandmas used to go to the market with these. They carried groceries in them, maybe even cans. Water from a pump. This balcony is completely destroyed. Wow. It's just a nightmare. Guys, how is that? I'm in the apartment, and this is the view. You can see how many years have passed since the tragedy. Some kind of paint. Everything is rusty here. Everything is in such a bad, destroyed condition. I didn't think the zone was crying so much. Let's try to get up on the roof of this building. No way. No way. No, we're not going to get up on the roof. The floors have fallen. Guys, this is what awaits Pripyat in 20 years. The houses will simply collapse. The floors have fallen completely. There are mountains of bricks here. The entire stairwell is simply in ruins. Damn it. No chance at all. Damn, guys, I don't know whether to risk it or not. Damn, I'm scared, of course. Horror. Everything is falling apart. Holy moly. Look, the floors have simply collapsed. Everything is simply mega fragile. The bird flew away. Horror. The boards are mega rotten. The window frames have already been torn down. There is nature outside the window. Wow. The building is in disrepair. You can see for yourselves. It's simply awful. Mamma mia. Mamma mia. Mama. No, guys, I'm not going any further. From below it seemed not so scary. That's all. God forbid the ceiling collapses. That's just awful. That's just awful, guys. Imagine, guys, you're walking along the exclusion zone like this. Just along the cornice of this. And then this. That thing that hangs. That falls on your head. It's strange, guys. I'm standing there as if I went out for a barbecue, but you only have to turn around a little. Pripyat is here. Guys, look what I found in the zone.
Обнаружил в зоне.
An ordinary flashlight that simply couldn't withstand.
Держал.
Maybe it was a storm, maybe the metal rusted and became brittle. I hope it won't shock you. Although it's unlikely, where would there be electricity here? You don't have to worry about me. I always have a dosimeter with me. I'm in control of the situation. This pole fell. It's been falling for a decent amount of time. It was torn out of the ground. The concrete became brittle. Look, you can even break off a piece. And you see how the armatura has bent. Guys, I call this a Chernobyl trap. When the grass grows over here, this well won't be visible. And the lid was stolen by looters. That's why you always have to watch your step. You can trip and fall, and help won't come. Mamma mia. These are certainly terrible ruins. Everything is overgrown, everything is covered in moss. Look, guys. This is the town of Solnechny. The flight of stairs is wide, just like in St. Petersburg.
Питерский.
Here is another apartment. Even some furniture is still preserved here. Kitchenette. Here the window frame was completely pushed out. Neighboring apartment. The apartment is made so unusually. Bedroom. Or living room.
Здесь
The toilet was here.
стоял.
The bathroom was here.
Было.
Oh, the bird cried. I thought it was a dosimeter beeping. You see, an unusual, really roomy hallway. And a sliding wardrobe, Soviet type.
Типа.
Mamma mia. Of course, the view from here is gorgeous. You see, the floor is holding on very weakly. Look, what a pine tree has grown. Huge, right? A two-story building. That's the very tree where I was just standing on the balcony.
На балконе.
Entrance hall, entrance group. This is the door paneling. Remember, they used to be like that in the Soviet era. There's even a door handle. So many mosquitoes and midges. Imagine how time has compressed this. Pay attention to how the road is overgrown. We take a random stick
Домную палку.
and start poking around like this. And what do we see? Oh, asphalt. There's asphalt there. Ugh, even the midges have flown out of there. And along the asphalt road that nature has swallowed up, there were lampposts.
Столбы. Вот так вот.
That's it. Someone's apartments are there. That's a sunny micro-district.
Солнечный.
It's just a scene from some science fiction movie.
Какого-то фантастического фильма, да?
There's the curb, and it's still painted. And there's some kind of sign there. Look. Let's see what this is. A well and also a valve. By the way, a valve, wow. Holy moly. Just look, look. Chernobyl. Belarusian. Someone just put a strut here so that it doesn't collapse. Because it's already on the brink. That's all. So let's go inside. Turn on our mega bright flashlight. So, as we saw in the previous houses, practically nothing has been preserved. There's just a reminder that people once actually lived here. There was a gas stove here. You see the gas pipes over there. They weren't cut down, by the way. That's amazing. That was loud. Look, what a bunny. So cute. Holy moly. I've never seen such abandoned buildings in such a state of emergency. The neighboring house. Let's go in. People lived here. Neighbors talked to each other. Wow. Toys. Children lived here. Wow.
Чего себе.
Look.
Чего себе.
This is certainly a rarity.
Раритет.
A baby carriage. Damn it. Damn, it looks like a coffin. Sorry. They used to have such terrible carriages. It's just awful.
Просто
It's magnetic. It's metal here. The edging is made of metal.
сделано.
And the frame itself, the top and bottom, it's wooden.
Деревянное.
It really is like a coffin on wheels. There was some kind of Soviet-style pneumatic drive here,
Привод.
only mechanical. This visor should go down,
Пускаться.
but no, it's already rusty. Holy moly. Look, guys, what I found. Calendar. 80 years since the shooting of a peaceful workers' demonstration and the beginning of the First Russian Revolution. So here it is. Barricades of 1905. Calendar 1985, a year before the accident at the Emergency Situation Center. Hair curlers. They are actually heavy. I can imagine if you rolled 15 of these things on your head would probably hurt a lot. A radioactive particle got into your nose. Barrier, guys. Radiation hazard.
Опасность.
No entry or entry.
Запрещен.
That's how we'll just go around the barrier. And it's done. And here is the central road to the city itself. The city is called Solnechny.
Солнечный.
Can you imagine, guys, once upon a time people used to go to work and take their children to kindergartens along this road. Oh, a mouse. Be careful. Look. I found a mouse. Look. It's a radioactive mouse. Oh, look, what a baby. How small. Did you see it running into its hole? Guys, this is a small moose. Damn, I'm actually scared. That means his mother is somewhere nearby. Ran away. Holy moly, rare footage. Just look at how he runs. Even his hooves are sparkling. Can you imagine? Here's a tricycle. I had the same one when I was a kid.
В детстве.
I used to ride around the yard with my friends. We used to race. And there's a sled nearby. So, here I am on the outskirts of the city of Solnechny. I enter the city and see this picture. Forest. Building. Mini Pripyat. Guys, an abandoned mini Pripyat. Now I want to find where the community center is. And see what's left there.
Осталось из охраны.
And while I'm talking to you, look, what a mushroom. What a yummy. But this yummy can conceal a great and tragic danger.
Трагическую опасность.
We take a regular dosimeter, like this.
Вводим вот так вот.
We switch it to beta mode like this, and start measuring the mushroom itself.
Гриб.
Now it takes some time for the dosimeter to load.
Превратился.
Like this, the mushroom is quite edible. The norm is excellent. It does not exceed, but again, I would not do it. After all, you are in the zone. Better to be on the safe side. Wow. Damn, it looks like some kind of assembly hall. Perhaps this is the DK complex, the House of Culture. One can assume that here were the seats.
Стояли сиденья.
Because look, it's like it's going uphill, like in any movie theater. Guys, have you heard? Apparently, I'm not the only one here. There are probably some stalkers besides me. Most likely, looters were burning out the copper here. Look, everything is black. What a scary door at the end. Now imagine someone running out of there. Here you can really feel how people were looting here,
Как здесь мародерили люди.
because they stole almost everything here.
Всё.
So, how do you like the launch zone? The fire? Imagine people just going out onto the balcony to get some air.
С воздухом.
As you can see, part of the parquet is wooden, which is simply overgrown with moss. Do you think it's just a forest? But no, it was once a room. There was a roof overhead,
Была крыша.
with these ceilings.
Открытиями.
What do you think this is? Do you think it's some kind of poop, right? Or did something fall and leave this trace? No, these are moose tracks. Imagine what the logistics were like. Here is the entrance base. People came in here. They passed through another door.
Ну, дверь.
By the way, the door was beautiful, purely glass. They entered this room,
Вот, в это помещение.
and on the left was a cloakroom.
Гардероб.
There might have been a ticket office there too.
Касса.
There is even a special window here,
Специальная.
where you could probably pay money and buy some kind of ticket.
Денежку купить какой-то билет.
The building was, of course, mercilessly robbed. Even the pipes were torn out. Nothing was left here. Such a beautiful beetle. Guys, do you know what they call this bug? Damn, I forgot its name. Write it in the comments. Not a single piece of glass, can you imagine? Everything was knocked down. Everything was destroyed. It is strange, of course, that the parquet was not taken out of here. Children's toys. Judging by these toys, I can assume that this is a kindergarten. Look, I found a child's shoe. A small one. Some kind of beaver. Oh, it's a dog. It certainly looks scary. Imagine. Even a bird made a nest here. No. There are no eggs there. Look, what a cool kettle. What a cat Boris is drawn on this. There is a mark. Boiled water. The cat has not even been damaged. This is what the Soviet Union is. They did everything conscientiously. What was damaged were these dolls. Someone stepped on it. Oops, guys. You saw nothing. I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened. Now I'm going up the steps, and it looks really scary.
На самом это крипово.
Walking up past these children's shoes.
Башмачочков детских.
It's hard to believe that I'm in Chernobyl. As you can see, little has been preserved in the buildings. Even in Pripyat there was much more.
Было больше.
You see, they broke all the doors. Soviet children's cars.
Детские.
The site is, of course, beautiful. It looks like a terrace. A canopy with the main entrance to this kindergarten. This is the view we can see.
Ждать.
You can see part of the kindergarten. And I'm scared, to be honest, very scared to be here. Especially considering what time it is now. And what is happening in the world in general. You have no idea how much of a risk I'm taking. Wow. Everything is overgrown with moss. What a horror.
Жуть.
Damn, someone put these dolls up.
Угол.
For what purpose? Maybe some sectarians hang out here at night.
Ночам.
Why do they gouge out their eyes? They break off their legs. After all, these were whole dolls. They couldn't just break on their own.
Отломаться. И голову.
And someone tore the doll's head off. Horror.
Есть.
So creepy. Why are they doing this, guys? For what purpose? Poor dolls. Just horror. Water is dripping from above. It just dripped on me. Do you see the drop? Guys, look, I found some sausages. Oh, it's plasticine. It's very hard, not that soft. It really is plasticine. Or is it poop? Damn, I think it's green plasticine, although animals eat grass, and it's green. No, guys, write in the comments what it looks like. I think it's plasticine. See how it just comes off. It looks like a telephone booth, but this is a panel. It's huge. Hood. It looks like a food block. An old refrigerator. Switchboard. Look, there's one room and how many cool things are in there. Is that potassium permanganate? Wow. Guys, look, some kind of machine. Guys, I left the kindergarten and found this. It's hard to understand, but it's a playground. Benches and something like this. I don't know what to call it correctly. The children climbed, fantasized, imagined that they were going somewhere, because here there is even a steering wheel that turns. Body. That is, imagine, a child in the role of a driver sat here, and he shouted to his boys in the back, like, we are going to work, hold on. Such a car. Red star. Again, did you hear? It's not just like that. But the background is excellent. Children were brought to kindergarten early in the morning along this road. They played there. I approached the village of Poganoi. 1053 people lived here. Once upon a time there was a fenced area here. You can see it by this checkpoint. It's already bent over, simply torn out by the roots. There used to be posts with barbed wire here. The posts that stood here were made of wood. They simply rotted, and the wind knocked them down. You can see glimpses of these posts. Here is the sign itself warning that you should get out of here, man. Guys, this is a motorcycle with a sidecar. Ural, or I don't know what it's called. This is a motorcycle with a sidecar. It's just here as a reminder of the tragedy, and of what time does to these parts and components. The background here is normal, despite the warnings. Power transmission poles. There are so many midges flying around here. Also, the wires are still there. No one cut them. I want to show you another object. In my opinion, this is the scariest place. Guys, this is the local hospital. It was here, guys, that people were brought with nausea and headaches during the first few hours after the nuclear disaster. All sorts of different flasks. There were hospital beds here, a nightstand. In general, the hospital is small, but on that ill-fated day, April 26th, it was overcrowded and overcrowded at all. People who worked in the fields, can you imagine? Radioactive fallout fell on them after the explosion. And they came here to the doctors on their clothes to be examined. Some silhouette of beds is still here. A hot water bottle to warm their sides. A pillow from those times. Pillow is older than me. It was the closest hospital to the village of Poganoi. People came here for help. And in this room there is a dining room. People ate here. There was a table with trays here. People came to this window. All this to put on a tray. A person took a tray, sat at the table, on a chair like this, and ate. Also pay attention to this point,
То, что
that there is a stove here.
оборудована печь.
Firewood was thrown here, and the stove heated up. It was possible to control the flame from above with such a blower.
Вот таким поддувом,
It jammed because it rusted.
потому что уже заржавел.
On the other side, there were sick people.
Больные.
This wall heated up and heated the entire large room.
Вот это вот все большое помещение.
This is a village. People lived like this before. Guys, the background is exceeded 10 times. This is a contaminated area, guys. I am in the village of Pogany, and now I will show you a local kindergarten, the main entrance. There is a symbolic high chair here, and you already understand that children grew up and played here.
Фишки.
The door is hooked. We go inside. The corridor is narrow, a very narrow corridor. Well, you see the condition. Of course, it is terrible. Just charred paint is already peeling off. So, window shutters. What did the looters do? They cut the shutters like this,
Деревянную.
bent them like this, and broke them out. The main hall. Probably an office, maybe a music room, and something else. How do you like this atmosphere? No, it doesn't work anymore. They broke the keys. This is certainly very interesting.
Очень интересно.
Ducks, children's toys. People left this place in a hurry.
Это место.
Little hostess.
Это вот,
Look.
пожалуйста, вот.
Guys,
Это
this is the kitchen area. This is where they cooked food for the children. The stoves, sink, oven have been preserved in that condition. Gas oven.
пожалуйста.
There is a gas burner here.
Вот это вот.
This is the kitchen area. And this is the boiler room. This is where this whole building was heated. Perhaps this was a bedroom.
Была спальня.
As you can see, the roof has collapsed. The cribs are still there. Children's cars. Here is the passage to the next room. A tree has grown in the middle of the passage. A birch. There was also a bedroom here, for babies, namely very small ones, a small children's bed. Playroom.
Комната.
Here they collected construction sets, cubes.
Всюду валяются.
Now I'll show you another interesting place. I'm in the same village,
В самой деревне.
Poganea village. The excess is 7 times. Look at this fence. How authentically it fits into nature.
Природу.
Tree with tree. There used to be a gate here. Let's go inside. An authentic bridge. Look how beautiful it was here.
Красиво.
It certainly looks very unusual.
Обычно.
Here, in fact, is that very school.
В этой деревне.
Mosquitoes fly in this village. And inside, guys, there are
Ждет.
workshops waiting for us.
Я.
Will we study together? Wooden handrails.
Дерево.
Of course. This is unreliable. A corridor. Yes, there is radiation here. Wow, it looks like an assembly hall. This is an assembly hall. An assembly hall. Holy moly, the floor is rotten. No, I'm not going there. Wow. Someone climbed in there. And that's Grandpa Lenin. Patriotic posters are hanging. I hope nothing hits me on the head here. And here is the school classroom. Holy moly, look. Wow. Wow.
Ничего себе.
The boards are rotten.
Доски прогнившие.
Wow. It's so beautiful here, guys. Sports hall.
Зал.
From the pioneers. I don't understand what's written there. What a display case.
Витрина.
Who's there? Yeah, guys, the wind is blowing, and something was shaking there just now. I was even a little scared. What a display case. Guys, a basketball court. Stylistic Soviet motivational symbols. The start of hopes. It's written on the wall. They played football here. They played basketball. An amazing place. Wow.
Чуметь.
We all seem to know about Pripyat, about Chernobyl, and so on. But few people reflect on the topic of the Belarusian exclusion zone. It's completely different, and you can feel it. Patrols are constantly driving here. They catch illegal stalkers. But nevertheless, I'm incredibly drawn to visiting such places and showing you something unusual, something you haven't seen before. And this is a chemistry class. There's water dripping. Look, this school already lives its own life. I don't know if you remember the episodes where we supplied electricity in shock. And here the location where we conducted electricity is very similar. Periodic table. I don't want to go to school. How do you like dawn? Normal dawn. This is the dawn device. But no. Everything is fine with the dose here. This is normal. This is normal. 1. But my attention was caught by this little thing. Very interesting. Holy moly. Well, yes, it is damp. I can hardly see anything. An old projector. They used to load cards here. The picture was already coming from here. This is some cool technology. It looks like a barbecue grill for grilling shashlik. The rubber is simply brittle. A sports section work logbook. Cool. The students' names are here. A school locker room. Guys, teenagers, students of the school, were changing here. A lot of shoes. They even had a toilet in the locker room. There was a shower. Holy moly. This is very cool. It is really cool that they had their own shower and toilet. Wow. And this is the doctor's office. Just look, I say this too often. Look at that little mushroom.
Какой грибочек. А?
I'm scared, of course. There is nothing left. Absolutely nothing left. Wow. Mamma mia, ID. Imagine, guys, I found this. Wow. It's even perfectly preserved. Some kind of flasks. Ointment or what is it? It's imported. I wonder if there's a year of manufacture. It should be written here. Yes, 1984. Already old. Look, guys. Soviet Converse. Cool boots though. Excellent quality. Even these sneakers, imagine, have life. Pay attention to the structure. The rubber is all cracked and dried out from time. The neighboring class. A child's school bag. Muska the cat is here. Quora, some kind of incomprehensible set of words, but there must have been something. A, B, C. Is this a primer or something? Wow.
Себе.
What's with the rain? If I had written like this at my school, my teacher would have crossed it out and written a recommendation. We've already seen such sleds in the zone. We've seen such jackets. We've even seen similar hats. Pencil case with pencils. Well, here in the pictures is everything that you and I can find here. Guys, just look, what frescoes. Mega cool. Mega cool that this has survived. No one crossed it out. September 1st is the scariest day for a schoolchild. The hare and the bear. This is the personification of friendship. Notebook of a 4th grade student. Well, to be honest, I don't understand Belarusian. Yes, the 4th grade student turned out to be a poor student. Laws of the pioneers of the Soviet Union. Interesting. And there is a new story here. Interesting pictures. People work on them. Found another unusual film, but this film is not for photographs. It was apparently loaded into the project that I showed before. And it was broadcast onto the wall. What kind of Egyptian thing is this? Such a scary thing. Some kind of mysticism. Guys, what do you think this thing is? This is a chemistry classroom. And now behind me is the administrative center. All sorts of important people sat here in the village of Pogonoi. And at the entrance we are greeted by Grandfather Lenin. Here is such a huge poster. Forward to new accomplishments. Forward to the victory of communism. Do you feel this atmosphere? But that's not all. I found another very cool place on the internet. This is the House of Culture, a typical Soviet building. The architectural style was basically the same everywhere. The buildings are practically no different. But of course there are some peculiarities here. Bulletin boards, for example. It is 10 times higher than the norm. Let's go inside. The wall was torn down. The partitions were also torn down. The hall. Here sat the ticket seller. Guys, in order to let people into the disco. Can you imagine? This is the dance floor. People hung out here. So many stories happened here. Next to the dance floor, the neighboring room is the assembly hall. Various events, theaters, holidays were held here. Well, mostly concerts of some kind. Long live communism, bright future of mankind. Long live the 1st of May. Polling station number 262,538. For the elections of the Council of the Union and the Council of Nationalities of the Supreme Soviet of the USSR. March 4th, 1984. Sunday is the election day of the Supreme Soviet of the USSR. So, can you imagine how important this was? The coat of arms of the USSR. It is clear that the tourists themselves made this showcase so that other here are people like me. Illegal stalkers. So that they would come and review the content for you. The site is quite impressive. Everything is, of course, in a deplorable state. There are pieces of gas masks everywhere, holes in the floor, so you need to be careful here. In general, guys, you can hurt yourself like that. There's a hole with nails here. You can just pierce your skull if you accidentally fall down. An electrical panel. And a radiation sign. I adore this sign. This symbol is probably my favorite. Subscribe to Kreosan. We are radioactive dudes. Chernobyl. I won't yell too loudly in case they hear, although there is no one nearby, but I try to be quiet. This is a house of culture.
Дом культуры.
There is another very interesting building next to it.
Стоит еще одно очень интересное сооружение.
This is a monument like this. Do you see the wreaths? People come here to the cemetery to clean up.
Чтобы убрать могилки.
I came along this asphalt road along the forest and reached the village, another abandoned village. It's called Zerdnoy. There in the distance you can already see houses, and this is the main stele. You can barely see there that it says Zerdnoy. Here's a pole, as if it's radioactive. It's just that this yellow moss has grown on it. Have you heard? I haven't even entered the village yet, and the excess is already 10 times. You can't even tell that there's some kind of village here. Just an ordinary asphalt road. But the silhouettes of the buildings are still slightly visible. Look, a bus stop, right at the exit from the village. Only the sign is preserved. Let's measure the radiation. Well, there's an excess of 8 times here. There's a saucepan lying there, some kind of concrete blocks. I don't know, maybe the fence was held up by them. Maybe there was some kind of enclosing perimeter here. This is a house made of wooden beams. Do you hear? A basement. Most likely, the residents stored potatoes here. Holy moly, how narrow. Let's try to find the entrance and go inside. Look, there's just a forest here, just some kind of forest clearing. And there's a house here. How is that? Wow. Holy moly. Wow. What cool hooks. A stove and a bed next to the stove. This is a cool house. A cellar. A wicker basket. Just imagine, they used to go into the forest to pick mushrooms with a basket like that. Holy moly. Damn, did you hear? Quiet, guys. A car drove by, just now. A car drove by. You need to be quieter. Be careful. I wonder what the floors are for. I wonder what there is there anyway. Oh, that's creepy. It's just that there's a huge hole in the floor. Let's go into the other house. No. There's nothing to look at here at all. It stinks of dampness. The roof has collapsed. That's the kind of village we have. The dosimeter keeps beeping. Now do you understand why the residents of this village were evacuated from here?
Жильцов этой деревни.
Just look, guys. I'm interested in this thing.
Вот эта вот махина.
Pripyat is about 20 miles away.
Действительно, 20 километров.
My plan now is to scout out the situation and climb this tower.
На эту вышку.
And I want to use binoculars to see what's on that side.
Здесь, в той стороне.
Look what I found.
Я обнаружил.
Soviet abacus. I honestly don't understand how this thing works. If there is any expert here, please write a detailed comment on how to count on this abacus correctly. Maybe there used to be a guard here
Раньше была охрана.
to guard this tower. But there is nothing interesting there. I caught myself thinking that if I don't climb up there,
Я не залезу,
to the very top,
то
I will regret it.
поэтому.
In theory, I am too far. I hope no one will see me through binoculars. I can't understand this. It feels like this tower is in operation, because if I'm not mistaken, these are solar panels. Holy moly! What a view! Guys, this is simply something. Of course, this is not a radar arc, but I hope I'll be lucky and still reach it on this hike. Guys, this is still shaky. This is shaky, look. I'm scared. I don't even have a safety rope. Holy crap. It's so beautiful here. The abandoned Belarusian exclusion zone. Just look, guys, it's a whole village. There may have been horses here. There was a stable. People came and fed them every day. They made fuel from their excrement, lit fires, and warmed themselves. People may have lived in these houses. They made tea for themselves every morning. And now it all just stands there against the backdrop of all this nature. What is this? Horror. I was really scared just now. It was an old column, an ordinary water column. I looked from afar and thought it was a person standing there. I thought they had figured me out. I almost climbed to the very top. Look, there is already such protection here. It is welded from reinforcement. It is already quite high. You can see right through this entire structure. This is really dangerous crap. I am very scared, very scared. And I am still clinging to it with my backpack. It is swaying so much. It is horrible. Just horrible. That's it. So, guys, this is beautiful. I will zoom in now. Chernobyl nuclear power plant. There are 20 miles left to it. I can even see the radar arc here exactly along this straight line. Along this road. I'll go on the right side, through the forest. Pripyat, wait for me. Guys, of course you can stay here for hours. Enjoy all this beauty. But I won't linger. Otherwise there is a risk of being noticed. It's difficult, but it's much scarier to crash. Oh, this is going to fall apart soon. In short, my dosimeter turned off. The last readings were very high. I went into some forest now. It's an analog of the red forest. The radiation background here is wildly off the scale. At that moment my dosimeter started beeping. As soon as I took it out, the screen immediately went out. But the readings there were very high. I decided not to risk it, put on a gas mask so as not to inhale anything. I need to get out of here quickly. Damn, guys, I'm in trouble.
Who are you? Turn the camera off. How did you get here?